We got gobsmacked at the NFL Combine today with plenty of NFL news outside of the players that are actually competing right now to find their home in the 2026 NFL Draft. Falcons fans, welcome into Falcons Today by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. So we're going to talk about the news that we got hit with today because it feels like every single day, every moment, every hour of this combine has been filled with teams releasing little bits of news here and there. So how could it affect the Atlanta Falcons? There are four major storylines that you need to know that we're talking about when it comes to the news that could affect the Falcons. Most of it, actually all of it, has to deal with the quarterback position. Kyler Murray has officially requested to be cut by the Arizona Cardinals. Anthony Richardson requested a trade and got permission to. Tyson Bagent trade rumors continue to heat up, and Tanner Mckee is now a name that everybody needs to keep an eye on. In fact, it's not just the quarterbacks. There are plenty of players that are kind of now considered trade candidates based off of all of the news that you could just do yourself. Research yourself. Like, just Google any of these names, and every single one of them will be like, yep, teams are fielding calls. Yep, Ravens are fielding calls, or Kayvon Thibodeau and the Giants are fielding calls. So it's non-stop between these 8 players right now, and you could even throw probably 5 or 6 other players in there as well that are names to keep an eye on. So let's start, of course, with Kyler Murray. I feel like every time a quarterback becomes available, especially if they're more considered a franchise guy, you have to do your due diligence and your homework and start talking about him a little bit. So Henry McKenna was the first one to put this out. This was actually yesterday at the NFL Combine, saying the Cardinals quarterback and Kyler Murray's camp would like to be released from Arizona rather than a trade target so that they could dictate where they go. That's not always how it works, by the way, Mr. Kyler Murray. But if we take a look back at the season, Kyler was just, he just wasn't good. Now, I know he was facing some injuries, right? But he's always got injuries. The guy's 5'9". He's my size. And I get it. He's mobile. He's got a rocket arm. It's pretty when it comes out of his hands. But I'm just not the biggest Kyler Murray fan, my friends. Even at his very best, it's barely top 10, in my opinion. And this last year was probably the most telling in terms of what it looks like as he ages, right? He comes out of Oklahoma as a Heisman winner, and everybody's like, oh my God, this is like the new mold of quarterback. Small, mobile, can get outside of the pocket, and then you start to realize why most quarterbacks are 6'3" and above. Plus, an anonymous source said this about Kyler just earlier this week, that there are questions about his work ethic, shocker, which have dogged him in Arizona for years. His quiet personality has also raised concerns about his leadership. There were definite things written in his contract about the amount of time that he was playing Call of Duty. So it's like, dude, what are we doing? What are we, like 14 years old now? You're an NFL franchise quarterback making hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, study some film. Get off the COD, man. Put the Cheetos and the Mountain Dew away, right? So I just feel like Kyler Murray's one of those players that I'm saying, I don't want it, right? I don't want him. As much as there might be still some untapped talent in the tank, I do not want Kyler Murray on the Atlanta Falcons. There's leadership issues, there's work ethic concerns, and at 5'9", dude, you've got to be excellent rolling outside of the pocket and not injury prone. So I do not want Kyler on this team. The next news nugget that we have to talk about is actually one that started today. Anthony Richardson requested a trade, and the Colts permitted this trade, which is crazy to think about considering just a couple years ago we were talking about the 4th overall pick for the Indianapolis Colts. So The Athletic did a really good job of kind of surmising what this trade request looks like. The dual threat signal caller, who turns 24 years old in May, hard to believe that he's still 23, has appeared in just 17 games through his first 3 years. Richardson has been plagued by injuries and inaccuracy, as well as the immaturity that led to a 2-game benching in 2024. He had just a 47.7% completion percentage in 11 games in 2024, which was the lowest mark in the league and the lowest in franchise history. Okay, quick little pause here on Anthony Richardson. You cannot find a player that has the build for a quarterback quite like Anthony Richardson in the league. Like, prototypical NFL quarterback build. What is he? 6'5", 250 pounds, moves like a gazelle, power runner, unbelievable deep ball. But they're absolutely right. I mean, 47% completion percentage is worse than dog shit. It's like 50 feet of dog shit, and then Anthony Richardson's completion percentage. But it's not. It's not like teams are not going to be interested in him. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings apparently have a source that are claiming that there is a lot of mutual interest there. So the Combine is the ideal spot for all of these conversations to have. So for anybody that's sitting here is like, how does this at all affect the Falcons? All of these conversations are taking place as we're recording this. So if you think that Ian Cunningham and Matt Ryan aren't doing their homework and having these one-on-one convos with other GMs, you're fooling yourself. Now, the Anthony Richardson interest, I think, only really extends to a few teams. I don't know that the Falcons are one of them. The Vikings, the Jets, and the Los Angeles Rams are teams that all reportedly have some sort of interest. The Rams, if Matt Stafford decides to retire next year, and maybe Sean McVay can work with him. But here's what I would say. If the Falcons did have interest in bringing in Anthony Richardson, you would only have to give up a fourth-round pick. And I wouldn't even give up a fourth-round pick in this year's draft. I would do it in next year's draft. So 2027 fourth, I feel like that's all you would have to really give up. Trey Lance went for a fourth, by the way, and he was drafted third overall by the San Francisco 49ers. So this feels almost exactly what you would have to give up. A fourth-round pick in next year's draft, and I'd honestly decline it. I would not make this deal. Would you make this deal? I feel like this is probably the standard going rate here. But again, I'm typing my D for decline here. I don't think Anthony Richardson has the tools and the layup ability that most quarterbacks need to have. I mean, think about this for a second, guys, real quick. Caleb Williams is still being considered a draft, not a draft, but a franchise quarterback question mark because he can't hit the layups well. And Caleb Williams' completion percentage is like 58%. Richardson's is 47%. He can't hit a 3-yard out. Like, that's the basics, bro. It's great that you can hit the full court shot, my friend, and it's awesome that you're 6'5" and can dunk. But the problem with this is I need you to complete basic passes, and you're not. So I don't want Anthony Richardson either. So I'm sure you're wondering, well, if there is a guy on this list that you want, who would it be? Actually, I have some interest in the next two guys coming up. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about my friends over at Harry's. Yes, got to grab my nice Harry's Shave Gel. Every single day, I'm rocking with Harry's, the best personal grooming products on the market. And if your old razor dulled too quickly, if it irritated your neck, and if it costs way too much, Harry's Plus is the razor for you. Heaviest razor handle ever, made from metal, never plastic, designed to fit comfortably in your hand. Heavier handle means more control and a luxe feel. They don't just make razors, though. They've got a full line of grooming essentials, from shave gel to deodorant to body wash, all thoughtfully made and priced up to stock. So, for a limited time, our listeners can get the Harry's Plus trial set for only $10 at harrys.com/chat. This set includes the all-new Harry's Plus razor, one refined 5-blade cartridge, and a 2-ounce foaming shave gel, and a travel cover to protect your blades on the go. Just head on over to harrys.com/chat to claim this offer, and after you purchase, they're going to say, hey, where'd you hear about us? Please support our show, and let them know that Moose from Falcons Today sent you. Jordan Schultz, I'm going to bring this back up here really quick. Talking about Tyson Bagent, DJ Moore getting trade targets and trade calls from GM of the Bears, Ryan Poles. But they're not the only two Bears that have now entered the conversation. Here's a little update for you. Other open for business Bears: linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, quarterback Tyson Bagent, wide receiver DJ Moore, and now defensive tackle Gervon Dexter. Keep your eye out on Gervon Dexter. That could be an Atlanta Falcon right there. And I'll actually make a little video on that tomorrow as we get into the office. But Harrison Graham, our Bears host, who is very tapped into the team, has a couple of sources that are very, very close to the team, claims that DJ Moore is as good as gone. Bagent, a little bit more unclear. Now, DJ Moore, I think, would make an excellent addition to the Falcons. I talked about that in my last episode. Tyson Bagent, I still think, would be a really, really good QB1 competitor alongside Michael Penix Jr. And the reason I say that is because Bagent is so good under center He's young, he's got energy, he's got charisma, and I'm just going to say it flat out, he's got game, right? He doesn't have the strongest arm, but what he does really well is play with timing, anticipation. And Kevin Stefanski's offense is predicated on that. You don't need to be Lamar Jackson off platform or Josh Allen or Caleb Williams. You know what you need to be? Derek Carr. Can you play under center? Can you deliver in play action? Can you complete 67, 68% of your throws? And look at that. He can. He definitely can. And Tyson Bagent's numbers, look, they don't jump off the page in terms of what a guy like Easton Stick was able to do, but look at the PFF grade. They're so different. Bagent was so effective this preseason under Ben Johnson. And you hear Ben Johnson say this all the time. They don't want to give him up. But if Ian Cunningham decides to throw a third-round pick, who knows? You might be seeing Tyson Bagent in a Atlanta Falcons uniform. And multiple people that are at the Combine right now are saying the exact same thing. Falcons are viewed as a potential trade destination for Tyson Bagent, according to Evan Sittery. The Bears would appear open to moving Bagent only if they get a day 2 pick, which is a second round or a third round pick. I don't think you'd be offering a second. You'd probably be offering a third in next year's draft as well. All right. Final bit of news here. Tanner Mckee, a new quarterback name that is entered into the conversation. 6'6", 231 pounds. Bro, this guy is ridiculous. All right. So let's talk about Tanner Mckee for a second. Very interesting name. There's a lot of Philadelphia Eagles fans that claim that he's a better pure passer than Jalen Hurts. I don't know if that's true. Jalen Hurts is an excellent, excellent football player. But Tanner Mckee fits the prototypical quarterback mold outside of what Anthony Richardson is. I mean, pure height. If you're 6'6", 231, dude, you're massive. He's got access to drive velocity when he throws in rhythm, so he's got a strong arm when he knows where that ball is going. Now, the only one area that I will say he lacks in, he has very limited mobility and athleticism. He's a pocket passer, quite like Michael Penix Jr. But what he does have in more favor than MPJ is he doesn't have the injury concerns. And that big body, that big frame allows him to absorb hits at an elite rate. So I'll go back to this last year against the Cincinnati Bengals, week 1 of the preseason. Tanner Mckee throws 20 of 25. It's preseason. It's 20 of 25 for 253 total yards, 3 touchdowns, and a passer rating of 135. The one thing you want to see from a guy that could be potentially a QB1 is, does he dominate in preseason? Not just does he play, not just does he throw a couple of touchdowns, does he dominate in preseason? This is dominant in preseason. He is a name, by the way, that wasn't really sparked before the Combine, and I keep hearing his name. I keep hearing and reading and seeing different things that Tanner Mckee is gaining a lot of traction here as a potential trade candidate. Here's the problem. It's not with the Falcons. It's with the Jets, Jets. And look, would I be upset if we threw a 4th or a 5th round pick to get Tanner Mckee? Obviously, we don't have a 5th round pick this year, but if we threw a 5th in next year's draft, I think it'd be hard to say no. I mean, one of these guys is going to get a shot at starting. And the Falcons, whether or not you're an MPJ lover or not, you cannot deny that there is a question mark surrounding the quarterback position. There is. And you cannot deny it. So there's going to be some controversy regardless of who the Falcons bring in as a quarterback. But if you had to put yours right now, gun to your head, you have to give me one name to join Michael Penix Jr. In the Falcons QB room. Who is it? For me, it's Tyson Bagent. But I'll let you answer that question down in the comment section down below. That's all I got for you on this episode. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining me today. Falcons fans, it is a pleasure to get even more content out to you every single day. As always, rise up and be cool.